Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, where the headlines showed up looking sleep-deprived, overfunded, and legally confusing. Segment 1. The all-night immigration money stampede. The Senate passed a roughly $70 billion immigration enforcement package before breakfast, because apparently democracy works best when everybody is half asleep and running on vending machine coffee. The bill would fund ICE and Border Patrol deep into President Trump's term, which is like giving the fox a prepaid gas card and telling the henhouse to quit whining. It passed 52 to 47 after an all-night vote. A Rama, one of those political sleepovers where nobody braids hair, but everybody ruins somebody's week. This fight grew out of months of DHS funding chaos after deadly federal immigration enforcement incidents in Minneapolis sparked protests, shutdown pressure, and demands for reforms like body cameras and tighter limits on agent tactics. The grounded point under the hollering is simple. Congress did not just pay a bill, it handed future leverage over immigration enforcement to a lockbox with a bow on it. Workers want airports open, paychecks steady, and grocery prices to stop acting like they got accepted into Harvard, while Washington argues over whether federal agents should get more money before they get more guardrails. Supporters call it border security, critics call it a blank check, and buddy, blank checks in Washington turn into boats, bunkers, and mystery consultants faster than possums find a porch light. If the House passes it, the immigration fight does not end. It just gets a bigger wallet and a smaller steering wheel, which brings us to the next mess. The money bucket that somehow looks even weirder. Segment 2. The Anti-Weaponization Piggy Bank. The Department of Justice has been tangled up in a proposed $1.776 billion anti-weaponization fund, which sounds like something a lawyer names when the regular words have started sweating. It came out of a settlement tied to President Trump's lawsuit over leaked tax records, and the idea was that people claiming government lawfare could apply for compensation. Judges and former judges are now looking at it like a county fair chili judge who just found a battery in the beans. The DOJ says the fund is not moving forward, but critics are still asking why the plan existed, who could get paid, and why Congress was not the one deciding how that money got spent. The absurdity escalates because the same fight included worries about whether January 6th defendants could ever seek money and whether the settlement shielded past Trump family tax returns from future audits. That is not a courtroom. That is a family reunion where somebody brought a shredder and called it dessert. Senators tried to redirect or kill pieces of the controversy during the immigration bill fight, but the amendments went down like a folding chair at a mud wrestling tournament. The grounded problem is separation of powers, which is a fancy way of saying the government is not supposed to find a side door to the cash register just because the front counter has witnesses. Segment 3. Bolton's classified notebook rodeo. John Bolton reached a plea deal in the classified information case, agreeing to plead guilty to one felony count of unauthorized retention and pay a $2.25 million fine. That is not a speeding ticket. That is the kind of fine that makes your wallet leave a note and move to Idaho. Prosecutors said Bolton kept sensitive diary-style notes from his time as National Security Advisor, and the case had extra spice because some material was allegedly shared through unsecured personal channels while foreign hackers were prowling around like coyotes outside a chicken pen. Bolton's defenders say the case smells like political retaliation because he became a loud Trump critic, while the government says classified information is not a souvenir mug from a national security gift shop. What makes this one so messy is that it lands in the same week as the anti-weaponization fight, so everybody is yelling about selective justice while the courthouse roof is already smoking. If a critic gets prosecuted, half the country sees accountability, and the other half sees revenge with a badge. And then the facts get dragged behind the truck like cans after a wedding. The plea avoids a trial that could have exposed more classified material, which is practical, but also leaves everybody unsatisfied in that special Washington way where even the compromise needs a shower. It also reminds us that powerful people keep treating secret documents like attic junk, while regular workers are scared to take office pens home. Segment 4, the Great National Rebranding Yard Sale. The country is heading toward its 250th birthday, and instead of just buying America a sheet cake, Washington is debating whether the celebration needs new money, new buildings, new branding, and possibly a cage fight on the lawn. The White House has pushed the idea of a $250 bill with President Trump on it, even though federal law has long blocked living people from appearing on U.S. currency. That proposal has the energy of a man bringing his own framed portrait to a birthday party and asking where the best wall is. Meanwhile, a federal judge ordered Trump's name removed from the Kennedy Center after a board tried to rebrand the place, because apparently even marble buildings have to look at Washington sometimes and say, "No, sir, I was already named." Then there is the White House ballroom saga, because nothing says practical government like arguing over security money for a fancy room while voters calculate whether ground beef is now a subscription service. A $1 billion security provision tied to the ballroom got stripped from the immigration funding bill after procedural rules and political optics both started screaming. The grounded point is that institutions are supposed to outlast whoever is standing in front of the microphone, even if the microphone is gold-plated and yelling about ratings. And while leaders argue over whose name goes on the sign, the real world is out here overheating, glitching, and occasionally producing flesh-eating livestock bugs. Segment 5, AI water, screwworms, and the world on a hot plate. While Washington was busy fighting over money buckets and marble letters, the rest of the planet kept making that awful noise your truck makes 3 miles after you ignored the check engine light. AI companies are racing to build bigger data centers, and now even Google is talking about replenishing more water than its facilities consume by 2030. Which is good, but also a reminder that the robot future apparently drinks like a football team at August practice. Teachers are warning AI may hit classrooms harder than the internet did. Farmers are being promised modernized loan systems, and regular people are wondering whether the machines will save paperwork before or after they jack up the electric bill. The technology story underneath the sparkle is that innovation is moving fast, but the resource tab is still going to land on somebody's kitchen table. Then Texas has the New World screwworm threat popping back into agricultural nightmares, which is a flesh-eating parasite problem, and I do not care how advanced the economy gets. That sentence will humble a nation. Livestock producers are watching biosecurity because one nasty outbreak can hit beef prices, rural livelihoods, and food supply chains faster than a rumor at a small-town diner. Overseas, Israel and Lebanon's ceasefire hopes are wobbling while Hezbollah rejects terms, strikes resume, and the wider region keeps standing near the geopolitical propane tank with a lit cigarette. That is the day in miniature. Washington fights over the purse, courts yell about the rulebook, technology sucks water, agriculture swats biblical insects, and the Middle East balances on a ladder in flip-flops. In conclusion, today gave us a Senate money stampede, a justice fund mystery, a classified notebook plea, a national branding fight, thirsty AI, livestock parasites, and foreign policy jitters. That is not a news cycle. That is a junk drawer catching fire during a family argument. We will keep watching it, because somebody has to, and apparently the adults are busy trying to put their face on the receipt.